What it do, comic babies? I'm Bunkmaster B, and at the time that this video is going up, I am right now at GalaxyCon Columbus. Obviously, I'm not there right now. I'm in my basement. It wouldn't be enough room to have a convention down here. But I'm super excited. This is my favorite local convention that goes around here. Great guest list. Dennis Cowan, who is one of my absolute favorite artists of all time and the artist on my favorite series of all time, is coming back this year. Ben Templesmith, always love to get a chance to see him. Zoe Thorogood is going to be there. I'm going to make her sign another sweet potato. And I'm just really excited about this weekend in general. And going through my packing list on this got me realizing that, this is kind of a good exercise. I've seen more than a few people ask, hey, I'm going to my first convention, what should I know, what should I bring with me, and things like that. And since, I've been to a few cons, I've been around the block once or twice, I figured this was a good chance to kind of talk about the things that I'm bringing with me, why I'm bringing them with me, and the chance that maybe that'll help you, but mostly just as an exercise for me to think about why, basically this list is a packing list for me. So, with that being said, let's get the super obvious stuff out of the way. You'll hear it in every video, you'll hear it here too. Number one thing, bring a backpack. You can opt for like a cool one. This is obviously like the least cool backpack you can imagine. But what it is it's comfortable, it distributes weight pretty evenly, and it's big enough to hold the things that I'm looking in there. Next super obvious thing. Comfortable shoes for walking around. You are going to be on your feet for a very, very long time. I'm also walking to and from the convention. I got a hotel that's about a 15-minute walk away. I'm going to be doing a lot of walking. I happen to like walking. I go for a run most every day. But I need something that's going to be comfortable. And so I'm swapping out my normal, joggers that are kind of beat up a little bit. Definitely have, seen some wear and tear and are not as cushioned as they could be. And I'm swapping out for some of my nicer ones. Another obvious thing that you're going to want to bring with you is things to get signed. Now, that sounds super obvious, and it is. That's the reason it's in the obvious section. But here's why I bring this up. You want to spend some time thinking about this beforehand. So, last year when I went to GalaxyCon, I met both Zoe and Rodney Barnes. Big fans of both. I had some things for Zoe to sign, especially a sweet potato. But when going through my comics after the fact, I realized one of my favorite covers that she did is this Department of Truth. I completely forgot this existed, and so I'm super excited to bring this with her. When I met Rodney last year, I forgot he was going to be there. I looked at the guest list, he was someone I was excited to see, but I didn't plan for that. And so I left my issue of Philadelphia #1 back here, and I didn't have access to it. And so you can either go, look through the comic bins and see if you can scare one up, or spend some time, make your list, go through the guest list, who do you want to get autographs from, and what do you want them to autograph. Don't do that right before you leave while you're in a frantic packing, mess. Spend a little bit of time. Look through that, get that going. Next thing, again, super obvious. Bring food. There's obviously going to be food at the convention, but if you've ever been anywhere, you know that food at an event, probably is not going to be that great. It's, just whatever they have in that particular convention hall. B, it's going to be way more expensive, than what it should be. And C, there's going to be some long lines. You are going to wait. And at a convention, this is a space and a time that you have paid your money for. You are going to this particular place, and you are paying to spend your time there. So why would you then spend that time that you paid in to wait in a line for food? It's one thing if you're waiting to see someone that you're not going to get a chance to see anywhere. But that soggy hot dog that's been on the roller forever, you can get that at 7-Eleven without needing to wait. Another thing I'm going to say with that, bring water. Obviously, don't bring a cup. But be very, very careful about the water bottle that you bring, especially if you are going to carry it in your backpack. You need to make sure that that thing is super, super watertight, because if you're going to a comic convention, you are probably bringing comics to be signed, you're probably buying comics. You don't want them to get wet. One spill is going to be all it takes to ruin your weekend. So, food and water. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you money. And the last of the sort of obvious things that I'm going to mention here is money. And I have this dollar bill here as a prop for actually two reasons. One, make sure that you've got at least some kind of cash on you. I know that we are more and more going to digital currency or cards or things like that. I'm super aware of that. I barely ever carry cash on me. But convention is going to be a place that you are going to want to have at least some amount of cash on you. Now, only you are going to be able to determine what that amount is. But you're going to find some vendors that are going to be cash only. Or you might see someone who's going to give you a cash price or gives you a little bit more haggling. So have some cash on you is important. But the other reason that I have this here with me is also to illustrate, have a budget when you're going into it. It's going to be so easy to just, buy the things that you want. Because if you're going to this convention, it's because you like the things that are there. And there are going to be tons of things to buy. There's going to be photo ops. There's going to be so many different things that you can spend your money on. And if you just sort of keep a running tally in your head, you put it on your credit card and you say, you know what, I've got a general idea of what I spent, and I'm fine. You are probably not going to be fine. By the time you do your reconciliation afterwards, you're going to realize that you spent a whole lot more than you meant to, and probably on things that if you had sort of the reflection not of being at the con, you probably wouldn't have spent it. So those are the super obvious ones. I want to go now to the ones that I think are a little bit less obvious and are important ones for me. So we're going to start off here with a mobile power battery. It's tough to kind of see this because it's just white, but it's a charging station, USB to whatever dock that you have, and it's just going to allow you to charge your phone or whatever device you have on the convention floor. If you're going to be using your phone a lot, if you're planning on taking pictures, if you're going to be taking videos of anything especially, there is a really good chance that your phone is going to, either die or get really close to it. That's obviously nothing that anybody wants to happen, but then on top of that, you meet up with someone, you want to make plans to meet up later. It's hard to go ahead and figure out how to do that if you don't have a way to charge it. So a lot of times there will be charging stations that you can go to, and especially in like the panel rooms, you will always see people that are there with phone plugs that are in it, and they're just sort of sitting there. This goes back to the thing I told you before about bringing money. You paid your money so that you can spend time there. You do not want to spend that time on your phone in your downtime. Having a mobile power bank is just going to give you some time that you can plug it around, have it going around, and be good to go. This is super crucial. Next thing, you might think you don't need it. Bring it with you anyway. Deodorant. Deodorant, deodorant, deodorant. And more than just sort of in your pack bags that you have at the hotel. Have it with you. I'm going to this convention in December. There's going to be a lot of people who are walking around in warm articles of clothing that are going to cause people to sweat. You may think that you are not a smelly person, that you're really clean, that you don't really sweat. I would consider myself to be those things. But we all have those moments where you kind of catch yourself out and you go, whoa, is that me? Yeah, that's me. and they're kind of stuck. If you're going to be at the convention for all that time, you want to make sure that you are being courteous to everybody else around you. Not everyone else is going to do that, unfortunately, but be the bigger person. Have deodorant in your bag. Pens and markers for signing things. Now this one might seem a little bit weird because you're going to be you're going to meet people there who are there specifically to sign things. So you might think, oh, I don't need to bring anything. They'll have things to sign. They'll have the things to sign my book. And in a lot of cases, you're going to be right. However, there are going to be cases where someone doesn't have the right thing to sign your particular thing. I mentioned before that one of the people I'm most excited to see down there is going to be Dennis Cowan. And I'm going to be getting him to sign my album cover for Liquid Swords that he did the album artwork for. Dennis is a pro. Dennis has been doing this forever. I feel like he's probably going to have it covered. But in the off chance that he does not have the kind of materials that you need to sign an album cover, because this is going to be different than what you would have to sign a comic, I don't want to bring this all the way with me and then go, well, that didn't work out. I really like the Sharpie metallic pens. They've got a few different colors here, and they work really well on basically anything. They show up really well. They say great for dark surfaces, and that's kind of the big thing. Everybody's got stuff that can sign on light surfaces. On your whites, on anything like that. Most materials can do that. But you can see there's not a lot of white material that's here on this. Unless he's doing a real small signature on that checkerboard, not a lot of light spaces that are going to show up. So having something like one of these metallic markers works great for that. Now something I like to bring with me that I think may not be necessary or might be overkill for a lot of people. But what I find is really useful is bringing an actual art portfolio. Now, part of this is just because I'm an original art collector, and if I'm buying a page from an artist, I want to make sure that I have a way to keep it safe and secure. And they probably aren't going to be selling that page with something right there, because they're probably going to have it in a portfolio like this, and they're going to take it out and give it to you. There are going to be people that will sell you things to put it in, but it's going to be expensive, and it's going to take up room, if you're getting it framed or anything like that. So I like having this for buying prints, buying pages, but even just something like the comics that I'm bringing with me. This is a really safe way to just kind of keep them secure and organized. I don't have them just messing around in my bag. They're not just kind of bumping into each other. This is a way that I can have them organized by who I'm planning to see. So, again, you probably don't need to go this overboard, but at least having a plan for it is something good. If you are planning on doing something like this, I have found that most backpacks, 11 by 17 right here, is about probably the largest that you can get away with. For my display portfolio that I have for my original pieces, 13 by 19, 13 by 18, yeah, 13 by 19 is my preferred size. For DC pages especially, they run a little bit larger. But also on top of that, it just gives a little extra room. You don't want a page to be super snug. So I can't really get anything, larger than this in my bag anyway. So for travel, 11 by 17 portfolio. And the last thing that I'm going to bring up that I think you should bring with you is a schedule. Now, you're probably going to have a program. It's probably going to go through things. You can definitely go online to the website to see a schedule. But I'm going to suggest, instead of relying on those things, actually have a note somewhere. Go into your notes app on your phone and put on each of the days that you're going to be there what events you want to see, what time they're happening, and where they're happening. This is going to be hugely, hugely crucial for you. Because one, a lot of times there's going to be a lot of people at an event. You can sometimes have little iffy situations on the self-service. Can sometimes be hard to pull up a website if you're trying to take a look. The second thing too is just it's hard to scroll through a lot of those pages, especially if you don't know what to search for. If you are looking just for events that are happening at a certain time, your convention is probably going to list a whole bunch of photo ops that are happening there. There's going to be this happening, this happening, this happening. And it's really easy to miss an event that you wanted to see that's happening at a certain time because you just sort of didn't think about that. Going through is also going to help you plan your day. So there's going to be times where there are two different events that are conflicted. Do you want to go to see the Legends of Wrestling? Or do you want to go see the Boy Meets World retrospective? They're happening at the same time. You got to make a decision. If you're trying to decide that in real time, it's going to be tough. But I like to go in and sort of help plan my day. But I don't make my final decision, while I'm here. When I'm at the convention and what I'm kind of feeling at that point, that's where I go in. So I will put different times for different events that might conflict with each other so that I have that ability. Or if there's a situation where there's an event that's starting at 4 o'clock and an event that's starting at 4:30, if 4 o'clock rolls around and I am feeling pushed, or if I'm talking to someone and I'm not wanting to stop, or if I'm doing something that I want a little bit more time on, if I was making the schedule at home and I was looking and I was saying, I definitely want to go to that 4 o'clock event, I might not record that 4:30, which means it wouldn't be in my head, and I would just say at 4 o'clock, I'm probably just going to blow this off, which means I'm missing both of those events. But if I know that 4:30 is happening, when I'm in that moment, I might take a look at that and say, you know what, I'm not really feeling up to it at 4, but that 4:30 event that I wanted to see a little bit less, that sounds awesome. Let me check that out instead. And just allowing yourself that freedom, but absolutely getting that schedule going, I think is crucial. Spend a little bit of time beforehand going through, figuring out where things are, when they're happening. It's going to save you some experience. And that's it. Those are the things that I'm bringing with me. Some of them were obvious, some of them might be a little bit more me specific, but I think there's a little something here for everybody to pick up. So, let me know down below. Are you someone that goes to conventions regularly? And if so, is my list complete bunk? Do you think I've got something wrong? Am I right on? Is there something that you always bring or a con tradition you have that I missed? Let me know. But with that, I've been Bunkmaster B. You all have been amazing. And I've got some cuties to go buy some hot dogs too. Haha, Kix, you know I wouldn't miss it. I'll catch you later.